I would like to ask, not yet Paul, first I would like to ask Sabrina SPEICH. We saw her before. Sabrina, where are you? She's coming. Would you come to the stage from the Institut Pierre-Simon Laplace? We have her as an expert in the role of the ocean in the climate system. Just take a seat. That's fine. Then we have Karina von SCHUCKMANN from Mercator Ocean International, and we listened before about the state of the ocean. Thank you. Then we have, just as a comparison, a guy, Paul Gross, from the United States. You know Paul Gross? Who doesn't know Paul? Paul is a former weather presenter. He did this for 40 years, and he said, I lived my childhood dreams. That's a good thing. Now he's the director of Gross Weather, and he helps legal advices in concerning the weather. And I would like to invite Francisca Cortes Solari, together with Patricia, or does Patricia? Yeah, you come? Thank you, come on. Take a Patricia, you assist her. You feel more safe if Patricia is around. That's fine. If you want to talk French,
no. Patricia is
your translator. Okay, because your natural language is
Spanish. Sí.
Ah, no hablo español, apetito. Patricia, you're a founder and executive chairman of the Philantropie Cortes Solari. It's the MERI Foundation, and you give a perspective of media communication for education program. It's happening a lot on stage right now. Everybody's talking to everybody. I don't know where I'm talking to. Are you still in there? Are you still in there? Look at these nice people. Well, at first, let's start with Patricia.
Francisca, my name is Francisca.
Oh, Francisca. Oh, that's Patricia.
Patricia is my...
You can talk in the things. Patricia is your assistant, your translator.
Hello.
Okay, that's good. You brought a film to show us something about the MERI Foundation. Shall we first watch the film?
Sí, sí.
See?
Yeah,
Okay,
sí,
let's start the
gracias.
film from behind the technical scenes.
Sí, se lo doy.
We've waited for this day. We shed some tears of love now, like a desert in the rain. When some of the dead are waking up, yeah. There's nobody like my mom. There's no place like my home since I was born. When I was young, the flavor is so strong. I've missed it so long now.
It's an applause. Francisca, I would like to ask you your key message, but it's almost in there. What is something you would like to tell the people here from your heart? Corazón.
Wow. Bueno, espero que podamos ahí, Pati. Yo voy a hablar así.
Yeah.
¿Puedo hablar así? Ah, ya, perfecto. Thank you.
It's
A
nice
ver.
for the Spanish-speaking people. They can hear
Perfect.
Spanish now and relax.
Bueno, es una pregunta muy amplia,
It's a very large question,
pero mi propósito durante estos 25 años de
but
trabajo
my purpose during those 25 years
ha estado dado en cómo podemos cambiar la forma de pensar que hemos llevado nosotros en el último tiempo. Es
has
como un
been
cambio de paradigma.
changed the paradigm of the people, let's say.
Es decir, en estos 25 años de trabajo, nosotros hemos estado seguros que para cambiar el cambio climático,
It means that during those 25 years, we
más
have been sure that
importante
to
es
change the
cambiar
climate
nuestro
change,
corazón.
we need to change our heart.
entonces creo que lo que le diría a las personas
So what I
es de
would say to the
que
people,
tal vez lo que a mí me hace estar acá
maybe
es
the
porque-
reason why I'm here,
One at a time, yeah? Yeah.
ah,
the reason why I'm
lo que me
here,
hace estar acá es porque he podido compartir con la naturaleza,
it's because I have been sharing with the nature.
porque he vivido desde pequeña en la naturaleza.
I've been living from very child in the nature.
Y lo que siento que es muy importante entregar este mensaje colectivamente,
And I feel it's really important to bring this message to the rest of the people.
nosotros hacemos como una vuelta, no es solamente ciencia, sino que trabajamos como integralmente en todo el tema de la comunicación de lo que hacemos,
So we don't do only science,
pero siempre, y lo más importante, es que lo que hablamos sea algo que llegue al corazón.
so we don't do only science.
Que
We
las im-
understand that we need to make
Que las
communications,
imágenes como que las que vimos nos inspiren el corazón.
and that communication needs to arrive to the heart
Momento.
and to inspire us. The
Thank you.
communication needs to inspire us.
Thank you. Necesitamos más personas
So we need more people
que se amen a sí mismos
that love each other,
para que puedan amar de igual manera a la naturaleza.
that could love the nature
Ese sería mi
at the
mensaje.
same time. That's my main message.
Gracias. Gracias. I could understand a little bit. And I can feel your passion. But we need to hear. You did a great job. Thank you. We'll come back to you later. Ladies, we've heard you before, but you also have a kind of key message you want to bring to the audience. Tell us.
So the key message is that what we know is what we can design is what we know. And the only way to know is to bring science at the forefront, to bring that in fact, and to communicate in a public way this fact. So today, the ocean is the core of climate change, and this affects the marine life, the life on land, and humans and human infrastructures. So we need to continue to dive in this ocean, and for the moment this is done just with research-based short-term funding. So we need to step further into this funding to make them operational, a little bit like a meteorological observation and modeling, and observe more variables and give food to science to try to better understand processes, to improve our way we forecast and predict our future, because we need to adapt.
Do you have an idea how?
I think government need to come together in the understanding that science is fundamental. This was actually the science, the endless frontier, was the basement of the bigger democracy like United States that gave a lot to science. And I think this should be the fundament of each government. So government need to hear a little bit more scientists, and of course scientists need also to provide more understandable messages to people.
Because the how question is the most important questions, of course. We know what we want, we know better things for the ocean, it's good for us, but how do we get that into the head of the whole population or people who are decision makers?
And I think here is where people that interact with the media are really very important.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm really applauding. I don't know every state what is doing, but in France, meteorologists, so the weather, the people that provide the weather information on channels, they are starting to provide information also about climate change in a very understandable way. And also, I think media, the journalists, have a very big role, because we are called to say our what is happening only when there is something extreme happening, and they do not always understand what is the big pictures. So I think the role of media in general is huge.
It's huge, and nowadays it's controversial as well, because, well, the media, some people don't take it too seriously anymore. Science, what's science? Just an opinion. Paul, I know something inside you said, oh, how can we deal with this shift in taking science less seriously? Maybe just because it's a threat, and they feel the threat actually, and then they say, okay, science doesn't. How do you cope with that?
Well, the biggest mistake that I see made in discussing climate change is that people will discuss the science, but they don't discuss the physical impact and what it means to people. And I'll give some. I actually made notes because there's so many examples I could cite. So, for example, if you want to show the graph showing that global average temperatures have increased to 1.5 degrees Celsius, that doesn't mean anything to the public. They don't understand what that means, and because of that, they don't care. But when you tell them that because of that warmth, that added warmth to the atmosphere, we're evaporating more ocean water, and now storms are dropping more rainfall, and so we are seeing an increase in the most extreme precipitation events, and then use a specific example like the floods in Valencia, Spain, now people understand, oh, well, that 1.5 degrees rise, that had a contributing factor to those severe floods. Another example would be ocean acidity. If you tell people that the oceans are taking in more CO2 and they're becoming more acidic, well, so what? Well, now you tell people that if you like to eat mussels and clams and they may disappear because of the higher ocean acidity, that means something to people. If, for example, you talk about, let's see, what do I have? Oh, rising sea levels, for example. Okay, a lot of people don't live near the coast, but there are some people that do. The rising sea level, and John Morales could talk about this personally, in Miami, routine king tides now flood areas that never before used to flood. When hurricanes come in, those hurricanes are driving in storm surge farther inland than they ever have before because the sea level is starting higher. It's a higher starting point. And that is salt water that moves inland. And I was just in Florida recently, and there is still, I saw lots of damaged vegetation from storm surge from Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. Just dead vegetation because of that salt water. And finally, we just talked about the heat content of the ocean and the effect on hurricanes in rapid intensification. I'll say it again. Using the example of a Hurricane Milton and a Hurricane Otis, which went from Category 1 or tropical storm to a Category 5 hurricane or 4 in just 24 hours, that explosive intensification means something. So you have to use the physical examples of how this is affecting people to drive home the point of the importance of climate change, because just saying 1.5 degrees or so many millimeters of sea level rise, that doesn't mean anything to people. We have to use the physical impact, then people will care.
Yeah, and make the relationship with things where people get emotional from, of. It's like the migration. People hate that people come into the country. In the Netherlands, is like the biggest popular party is the one who says, no more people inside here. And I'm not the only country that happens. So I said, okay, that's right, but half the Netherlands is beneath sea level. So what if we don't put any money in saving the western half of the Netherlands? Fine, you don't live there, that's fine. But where do they go? Afterwards, they're flooded. They come to your place.
How about the people that live on the tropical Pacific islands that with the sea level rise, where do they go? It's again, these are people that live far away from some people, but you have to care. And that's why I love the word global warming instead of climate change, because it is a global warming with global impact.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult if the AMAC is doing things we don't want to do.
But that's part of
that's global disruption. I talk about disruption. It disrupts the way we live right now. So that's an important thing. And the other thing that hits our emotion is safety. I've read a book about a very high general in the Netherlands, Tom Middendorp, and he explained very clearly in all the expedition he did worldwide that safety is completely related to climate change. If you don't have anything to eat after the first, second, third drought, what do? You go to your neighbor. Your neighbor doesn't have anything. You start fighting. It's a feeding ground for terrorism. So safety is related to a changing earth and changing feeding grounds. So clicking those emotions connected with I hope they start listening to us. I still feel hope. Karina, you also have a key message from your expert background. Would you tell us your key message?
Thank you very much. So my key message is, as everybody is stating here and convinced that the ocean is really central for us. The ocean is really the center of climate. And it's really the life-supporting, giving so much services, life-supporting services. So we are on a blue marble, right? We are. So, but this ocean is changing. All the aspects are changing, and it is changing everywhere in different senses, but every part of the ocean is affected by change at the surface and also at the deep parts. So what we have to do is to really understand, to look in the past and the different components from the surface to the deep parts, to the physics, biochemistry, biodiversity, to the frozen part, the cryosphere part, to understand what is happening. And then we have to look also on all those different components and the data and the model, what is happening today, in order to react. And we have to understand, we have to go to the near future, so to do forecasts for 2 weeks, 10 days, in order to alert. And we have to take the data to look in the far future to prepare. So there are different parts of the ocean. The ocean is very complex, it's very energetic. So we have changes at different scales. We were talking about extremes, but we are also talking about these so-called slow emerging changes. Slow emerging change like ocean warming, slow emerging change like sea level rise. So we're talking about this 10 centimeters over so many years, and also that we start from a different starting point. But this is emerging and continuing, and it will affect of how we are organized, how infrastructures are put in place. And if we do not prepare and if we do not use the knowledge and the data in order to be informed on our action, our plans, this will be very difficult. And what I would like to add is here that we have to use also this information to produce integrated knowledge across the 3 pillars of sustainable development. So the environment, so the ocean, but also economy and society, to ensure that we have integrated and comprehensive knowledge in order to act, and also to consider the information and the needs of the people, such as also from indigenous peoples and local communities.
Well, what I struggle with is I see what you see, and it hurts. It hurts Francisca, it hurts all of us. But the people are watching these scenes evolving are feeling afraid. How can we pass on those frightening images and frightening changes and change that into a message that people think, all right, I need to do something with this. What's your opinion on that?
It's a similar message. So if we have the information on understanding, alerting, preparing, and then we are able to drive the solutions. Solutions also to ensure that we, of course, could cut down on our CO2 emissions to all parts, or to make things emerging slower. Some parts we are committed to, and the ocean is one of the messengers for this. But also in order to drive the solutions for sustainable development, solutions for climate resilient pathways, solutions for adaptation for the environment, but also adaptation for the society. So these are all the solutions which can this knowledge provide, but we really have to do it together internationally and across the different needs, across the different dimensions, and also to ensure that we include the people, particularly those who know to live with the nature.
Francisca, how do you use the positive storytelling to engage people?
Bueno, creo que eso es algo que me interesa mucho.
This is something that I'm really interesting.
Siempre nuestro desafío ha sido el hacer proyectos o programas, pero que tengan un impacto y que podamos medir.
Our main challenges are always been to develop program or project that we could evaluate.
Somos muy integrales,
We
como
are really
decía,
integral,
porque no
as Karina
podemos
said.
separar nada para poder cambiar el futuro.
We understand that we cannot separate areas to change the world.
Por lo tanto, la educación, la ciencia, la conservación y cómo comunicamos eso
So we understand that we need to
ha sido un
communicate
tremendo desafío.
science, conservation, and education together. It has been a huge challenge to communicate that.
Nuestro desafío ha sido cómo llegar a las personas con videos, con material educativo, cómo llegamos a las escuelas, cómo llegamos a la sociedad civil para poder tener una responsabilidad frente al cambio.
So we have developed many documents, videos, things like that in order to reach not only students but policymakers and explain why it's important to the change.
Hay un proyecto, actualmente nosotros tenemos 32 proyectos,
Currently we have 32 projects,
pero hay un proyecto que me apasiona mucho porque creo que es un ejemplo
but
que
one
ha
of them is
sido
really important for me
el trabajo con IPCC y WMO.
because it involved the work with the IPCC and
Nosotros
WMO.
partimos de una manera fortuita con ellos porque la COP sería en Chile.
It started like an accident because the COP25 was
Nosotros-
supposed to be in Chile.
Igual nosotros decidimos viajar a España y hacer igual la COP con ellos.
But at the end, the COP25 was in Spain, and we decided to move to Spain and help to develop the Science for Climate Action Pavilion in the Blue Zone.
Creo que esa sinergia entre lo público, lo privado y la sociedad civil, realmente ahí lo pudimos ver el resultado de lo que es trabajar con un equipo, con un propósito definido, donde no hay competencia, donde no hay rivalidades y donde nuestro propósito siempre es el mismo.
And the collaboration with IPCC and WMO was great because we really work together without any kind of competition during 2 weeks, developing 45 panels in a union between public, private and civil society.
Cuando estamos juntos nos sentimos como somos una familia y que tenemos que ir todos hacia el mismo lugar.
And when we are all together, we just feel that
Esa
we
es
are
una
a
buena
family.
manera o
And
un
this
buen
is a way.
ejemplo. Tengo otros ejemplos, pero
I have other
realmente
example, but this is a really good
la
example.
experiencia que nosotros como privado hemos tenido trabajando con IPCC y WMO ha sido algo que realmente nos ha llenado de mucha satisfacción porque sé que hemos podido aportar a esa organización.
The experience that we had with IPCC and WMO has given us a lot of satisfaction because we have they have given us the space to give our experience, and it has been a very good collaboration.
Well, communicating to policymakers is very important. But you know, the whole audience you watch, there are a few people who are believers and think, yeah, you're probably right, I'm doing the right things.
Estuvo bueno.
On the other end, there are people who never agree with anything, the skeptics. They shout the loudest. but they're just a small group, about 16% of the whole group. 70% is a silent majority who actually wants to do something, who feels the urgency, and how can we reach them the best? Think about the younger generation, actually where we do this for. The time the Earth responds to our action, we're dead. We're CO2 in the ground. Hopefully not in the air, but that's another thing. Paul, what would be your advice, or what one of your advice to engage the younger generations? Because that's also something people act on. Oh, my child or my grandchild.
Well, again, I think it comes down to talking about the things that matter to people. So, for example, when I do my lectures on climate change, one thing I talk about is pollen and allergies. And I always ask for, how many people are allergic to pollen? And half the room, the hands go up. And I explain to them, and yes, Climate Central has graphics for this, by the way. I explain that with more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that plants are producing more pollen, and that it's going to be, I think, 3 or 4 times more than what it is now in 75 years, and that growing seasons are longer. So that means that if you have allergies, your future growing seasons and pollen counts are going to create longer, more severe allergy seasons. That is something that matters to people.
But not especially to younger people.
Because younger people have allergies too. And you want to... Oh, okay. I was just going to say, and again, people travel to Florida or other places, they have relatives. Whenever there is an important weather event, link that. You don't have to definitively, because we don't always have the information right away, but link it to climate change in terms of how it might have impacted. So, for example, when Hurricane Helene went up into the Carolinas in the eastern United States with some incredible rainfall that nobody had ever seen before there, we know that because of climate change, we are seeing more intense extreme precipitation events. That is something that can be talked about, because people need to know that is the future.
But what makes it, especially for the youth?
For a young person,
found the answer.
That's just it. Young people live in various places around the world too, and whenever one of these events happens, I think that's what we have to do. We have to explain that a future world is a world with more of these events, and they don't always affect everybody, obviously, but they could affect you. And I think that's what we have to talk about with the young people. And the last thing is, because they are young people, we need to empower them with the message that you are the ones that are going to have to try and do something about this, because clearly the current generation isn't.
No. Sabrina.
Yes, I have an example again in France. So in France, Jean Jouzel and colleagues were so vocal that they always talk in the public about the problem of climate change, that at the end, climate change is now at the program in schools. And from the middle schools, and there is climate, what is climate change, what are extreme events, what is the ocean in that, etc. And this makes a huge difference. And also, I have observed, because I've been called to teach in a political science school, that young generation are really very interested, and they want to know how to read a scientific fact. And so they take classes that maybe 10 years ago they wouldn't have taken, and they are really, even if we are a little bit hard with them, they are really very happy to understand all about this. So I think if we give the way, and Marina wrote a books about fact in the ocean. So, I mean, there is a way of communicating that today. I think it is, at least in some nations, possible.
Okay, I would like to involve you people as well on the poll, online as people here. We have a QR code. And I kindly request to you, you can use your phone, not for checking your mail, but to get into the QR code. Then you get in the translation program, and in the translation program you can join the poll. I have made some statements to find out how you think about some things and how we can get better all together. So if you go in here, you can go to the poll. Where's my phone anyway?
Yeah, my phone's back there too.
You can back your phone, Paul, that's fine. You can grab your phone if you want to. This is the QR code. You don't have to log in. I understood that it's good enough to get in. Yes, is there an... Does it work? Not working? If you go to this
Maybe you have to try it on a
QR code.
try it on that one. Maybe it's just this one's too large.
It's working? You can't click the choice. You can't click the choice. It should work. The first question, if you're in there, just wait. You're in there, and you should. Yeah, you. Yeah, it works, but try to. Yes. They're running behind. Oh, we're gonna. Did you succeed to get in? That's the first part. The QR code is also on the pillars on the side. You can go in. And we have a first question. And now we have to try to find out who you can vote. At home, I hope you can vote as well. Let's go to the first question just to get used to it. Is it possible to put on the first question? It does work? It does work. Now it does. All right. Oh, something goes. Okay, we have the QR code. Can I have the first question on screen? Arthur, on the back. You probably... From what interest or profession are you interested in this topic? Can you vote? How? By clicking. It doesn't work at my thing. Okay, I just see what happened. Okay, no questions on the screen, just on your phone. So you have to use your phone and use your Wi-Fi. From the first question, I'm just gonna look how many people responded. Till now, almost 50% are interested from the side of meteorology. About 25% came from science. About 16% for journalism. Even 3% of politics. Nobody commercial, nobody from an NGO. And there are some other people from other interests. Well, it's nice. It's almost a Meteor conference, so yeah, well, okay. Your main interest is science. Your main interest is science. Your main interest is a kind of NGO, right? If you're MERI Foundation. Yeah, NGO. Okay. I can see some people can also put some ads on. Can we go to the next question? Question number 2. I hope that we're gonna work as well. Question number 2. Presenters should avoid discussing climate change during extreme weather events to prevent public confusion. So yes, there's something going on, but linking it to climate change, or in my case I would say climate disruption, can also a bit give confusion because they don't connect all the dots the way we do. Have a look. You can fill in. I see the general chat room. Greetings. Okay. Hello, everybody. Yes, hello. I'll go back.
Sorry, can I see the question?
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Okay. Presenters should avoid. But if I don't want this, all right. Agreements. 12%. Disagreement. 82%. Sometimes it depends on who does agree in the audience. Who does agree that we should avoid discussing climate change in combination with extreme events? Who said I don't agree? You don't agree, or you... Oh, somebody who doesn't agree? Okay, who does agree? Hands up. What the heck? This is not... Hello, or you don't dare to talk. Come on. At least 14 people don't agree and 2 people do agree. That's what I have right now. So somebody is here who agrees, don't combine this. Is anyone eager to say something about this topic?
Can agree when they meant disagree.
Okay, don't do it at the same time. It's going to be busy. Any of you who can add some comment? Paul, you said something about this. Do you agree or not agree? Or
I don't agree with the statement, because I very strongly think that when there is a very extreme weather event, we do need to explain how climate change might have impacted that and how these types of things are consistent with what scientists are saying in terms of the impacts of the warming of the climate. We don't have to say, and we can't say immediately after an event, that climate change did cause this, because that's not a correct statement. We have had big storms before. We have had extreme weather events before. They are just becoming more common and more extreme, and that this event is consistent with that philosophy from the climate field.
But you can't say that this extreme event is connected to climate change.
No, you can say it's consistent with what scientists are saying with a response to climate change.
But listen, I'm just an ordinary listener, and I hear you say it's consistent, but what does it mean for me? This has happened before, so why would you connect it to climate change?
Well, okay, I'll give the example that I use in America with professional baseball. We had a period where professional baseball players in the 1990s were using steroids, performance-enhancing drugs. Forget it. And what I use is that analogy in saying that before those players were using those drugs, they hit home runs, they hit the ball far. They did that before they took the drugs. But after taking the drugs, they were hitting the ball farther and hitting more of them farther. And it's the same with weather. We had those storms before, but now they're worse and they're becoming more common, just like the players who use the drugs. So what I say is we have put the atmosphere on steroids. The atmosphere is on drugs to enhance, and it's enhancing the storms. And that's what we have to deal with. That's how I explain it.
We need that kind of explanation too. You would like to say something?
Another example would be in 2017 in Puerto Rico, we had 2 Category 5 hurricanes threat in 2 weeks. So that is not normal, and that hasn't happened before. So there has to be an explanation. So that's how we use the climate change, and then we introduce it.
And that affected your people there. That's a direct effect of climate change on your people, and that's how we have to explain this.
Francisca.
Bueno, nosotros en Chile...
So, yes, in Chile,
Sí, nosotros en Chile vivimos en urgencia.
we live in the urgency, in the emergency.
Siempre una de las cosas es que la ciudadanía está preparada para los cambios.
I mean, citizenships are completely prepared for the changes.
Nosotros tenemos terremotos,
We have headquarters all the
tenemos
time,
aluviones, tenemos
rains,
tsunami, tenemos todo.
everything,
Entonces,
truly.
nuestra ciudadanía
So
está
citizenship
formada
grow
para
up
los problemas climáticos.
with these climate change problems.
Hace un poco tiempo escuché en las noticias de que hablaban acá en Europa de un kit de emergencia.
A few months ago, I hear that in Europe, someone was talking
No sé
about
si
the
alguien lo
kit of
escuchó.
emergency because of the war, etc. And Ursula van Straten was asking to everyone to have a kit of emergency because of the
Entonces,
political situation.
Algo nos está diciendo eso, que llegamos en un momento donde necesitamos prepararnos.
And somewhere it means that we need to prepare
Y
ourselves.
quise poner este ejemplo porque en Chile estamos de alguna manera más preparados.
And I wanted to put that example because somewhere in Chile we are more prepared
La
than
gente
here.
se mueve de muy buena manera en las calles cuando hay terremotos,
When
aluviones,
there is headquarters
desprendimientos.
or rains, we already know how
Las
to move.
escuelas, los colegios.
Kids are completely
Entonces
prepared at
hay
school.
una educación a la ciudadanía de primer nivel.
So there is an education
cuanto a
from first
incendios,
level
tsunami, etcétera,
in terms of
etcétera.
fire,
Entonces, la
tsunami.
educación y la información.
But what makes it that in Chile they are completely prepared and in most other countries in the world just say, yeah, well, politics,
Porque
it's not in a hurry. What makes it that Chile does different and makes it a good example?
claro, bueno, es que nosotros vivimos en una condición, nuestra geografía.
We live in a very particular condition in a very specific
Nosotros
geography.
primero que nada tenemos una costa inmensa.
So we have a huge
Por
coast.
lo tanto, todo lo que pasa en Japón o todo lo que pasa en ese continente llega por el mar a
So
nosotros.
everything that happened in Japan arrive
Más
through the
encima nosotros
Pacific to
estamos
Chile.
sobre placas.
We are
Tenemos la
exactly
placa en
over
Nazcar,
the
tenemos la placa en Valdivia.
Tectonique. I don't know how to say in English, but so one of the major
Hace
headquarters
poco
happens in
pasó
Chile.
un fenómeno que nunca había pasado en Chile,
A few months ago,
jamás.
something
One at a
happened
time,
that-
one at a time, please.
A few months ago, something happened that never happened before in Chile.
Que fue un tornado
A tornado.
y destruyó la ciudad.
It never happened before.
Nunca, o no sé, cientos
No,
años de atrás,
no.
never.
And it destroyed part of the city.
En Chile sí cada vez se entiende más el cambio climático.
So Chilean people understand very well the climate change.
Por
and what does it
ejemplo,
mean.
en el verano, por la sequía,
For example, in the summer,
La
because
desglaciación
the lack of rain,
produce deshielos y se lleva ciudades enteras.
so you have an increase on the sea, and it takes a lot of cities, for example.
Aunque sea invierno o verano,
Even
siempre
in the
tenemos que
summer
estar
or the-
cuidándonos del agua,
Or the winter, we need to take care of the
del
water
cambio climático.
and then the climate change.
Interesting. Which other countries also are actually really well prepared for any climate change extreme event? Because prepare, well, like they have preparation, they have institutes, which are there any other countries except Chile?
Está buena igual mi...
That is a continuous message in areas where have been affected by catastrophic hurricanes and earthquakes. I mean, that emergency management, I mean, that's the 365 days a year you have that message.
You have it or you want to have it, but politics are changing things.
You have it. You have it.
Claro.
Okay, well, I'm living in the Netherlands. We think we're safe, so why should we think about wet feet? We're just eigenwijs. What eigenwijs? We think we know best. We Dutch, we think. Actually, the government takes such a good care of us that we don't realize they took care of us. So we're safe, we think. What do you say? With government? Our government is gone. But we have the NATO top. Okay, next question, please. Can I have the next question? The next question on your phone. I hope everybody is still in, also online. Next question. Scientific uncertainty is a valid reason to delay communication about ocean-related climate change. The ocean is more than 2 times the surface of this beautiful planet, and we know much, much less. It's a vast mass. So communicating about something we know so little about, that's a risk. And that scientific uncertainty is a valid reason to delay communication. First wait and see until we know a little bit more. Nobody's agree. Okay, that's a good stuff. 91%, 92% do not agree with this. It's not a valid reason. We should communicate, although we know not that much. Well, you're the ocean-related scientists. From a scientific point of view, I can imagine, yes, we should communicate. But on the other hand, to the audience who doesn't have all the knowledge, do you think there should be any delay or just go with anything we know?
Well, I think we have gained enough knowledge to assess fact with some certainty. So every communication, scientific communication, has the numbers plus the uncertainties. And in this moment, thankful to all the observations that are in place, we have facts that can provide information to the public. And when we were talking about extremes, actually now there are some studies that are done more or less the same day about assessing if it is a likelihood due to climate change or not. There are really firm statistics that can be provided. Of course, in a language that include always percentage that maybe is very difficult for the general audience. But I think we can provide fact, and we are pretty sure about most of what is happening.
Just show them those most beautiful animations and stuff like that. Then I think we get to the audience. Evelyn.
Oui, je parle en français, hein, excusez-moi. De toute façon, notre rôle, nous, de présentateurs, c'est à partir du moment où il y a quelque chose qui est repéré par les scientifiques, c'est d'en parler. Moi, personnellement, ça fait 20 ans que je parle du changement climatique et j'ai vu l'évolution du langage des scientifiques. Moi, je dis toujours, les scientifiques sont des personnes qui, surtout, ne donnent aucune certitude tant qu'elles ne sont pas certaines, c'est évident. Hein, au fur et à mesure, je pense que nous, dans notre langage, il est important de dire, d'avoir une réserve dans le langage, mais tout de même d'informer. Parce qu'à partir du moment où il y a quelques incertitudes, il y a quand même des certitudes, même si la majorité, ce sont des incertitudes. Et notre rôle à nous, c'est quand même, parce que à partir du moment où on parle de quelque chose, c'est qu'il y a quelque chose qui se passe, forcément. Donc je pense que notre rôle, c'est d'y aller pas à pas, de ne pas être affirmatif, comme vous ne l'êtes pas, mais de suivre votre langage et de l'accompagner. Parce que moi, je vois... en 20 ans, j'ai vu l'évolution du langage des scientifiques, et pour certaines choses, ils disaient « nous pensons que », « nous observons que », et maintenant, parfois, il est avéré que. Et donc, là, c'est l'évolution de notre langage qui doit être parallèle à celui des scientifiques, mais il faut informer dès le début.
Thank you. Yeah, brief, then we can go to the next question.
We have something that you want to say.
Oh,
Yes,
you briefly.
I just want to go also to this question of uncertainties. I think they're very essential, also essential in order if we want to alert or if we want to prepare to ensure that we have robust knowledge to support informed action, to support informed decisions, such as, for example, if we are going for extremes, for example, there are early warning systems or early alert systems. How sure are we about this alert? This is really essential. And also for the long-term measures on adaptation. So are we really sure that in this area, for example, the density will change that way that it would not make a lot of sense to put here a new system for mangrove planting, for example? You need to be sure. You need to be sure, okay, in this area I'm really sure. So put in the mangrove planting, sea level rise with respect to also adaptation for coral reefs and so on. It's a long-term process. So we need to have these uncertainties to ensure that the information we provide will be that robust that we ensure that we have sustainable solutions for the future.
Okay, Paul, briefly.
Just very briefly, and I don't think any of you thought of it this way, but think of this. On a daily basis, we talk about uncertainty with the weather. What is the chance of rain? Is it going to be just an isolated shower? Is it going to be a lot? We talk about uncertainty every day with the weather. We can do that with climate change. It is okay to say we're not certain, but the evidence is leaning toward, and there's still more research being done. It's okay to say that. You're being honest. It's conveying uncertainty, which is what we do every day anyway.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next question. Question number 4. Personal stories and emotions help make climate and ocean issues more understandable for the public. Personal stories and emotions help make climate and ocean issues more understandable for the public. Or is it just clickbaits and you think nothing about emotions? Come on, we're science. We're about reality. It's about numbers. It's about what we know, not about emotions. Come on. Agree, don't agree, depends on the media platform. There are 3 options.
Yeah, I agree with personal stories, I disagree with emotions. So I'm trying to figure out
Paul is sitting behind me. Oh, I do agree with personal stories. I don't agree with emotions. What should I do? Yeah, well, you can fill in the chat form. Who does agree that emotions and personal stories? Or should I split it up? Who said personal stories? Yes. Hands up. Who says use emotions as well? Hands up. Well, still a lot. And who says no, keep to the basics? Anyone? There's one person who doesn't agree, but it might be online. Sorry. All right, next question. I'm looking at the time. Question number 5. Media communication on climate and ocean should be tailored for the younger audiences. Because, well, you know the younger audience look TikTok instead of news or articles we make. They go to different platforms. They have their different bubbles. So should we make it more tailor-made for the younger ones? And then the older ones will understand as well. As soon as it's going to be a hype, it's going to be in the grown-up media as well. Who does agree? 16, 77, 75% do agree. Just 8% do not agree. And 20% said, well, it depends on the media platform. Yeah, of course. I can imagine. Anyone who would like to comment on that in the audience? Anyone? They have their own discussion over there, that's fine. It's okay? Okay, let's go to the last question. And that's an important question. What do you need to improve communication about the impact of climate on the ocean, and ocean? What do you need to improve communication about the impact of climate and ocean? It's an open answer, so you should fill in something with a few words, please, not a whole article. What do you need? Well, keep on filling in that, what you need, because we can collect it behind the scenes and we can help afterwards. To close this up, there's always a final takeaway. Briefly, what is your final takeaway for the people online, for this audience? What would you say from your heart, your final takeaway?
So my final takeaway is that all of you are really important, because as scientists we are not used to talk to the public, so we try sometimes, but we do not have also the time to learn how to do it. And you reach millions, and then altogether probably trillions of people. So you have a huge responsibility. And you are probably the best connection between science and the people.
Yes, so it's a similar message. It's a similar message to state that we have to create this dialogue, that we have to continue this dialogue, that we have to put our forces together in order to transmit the information and in order to further foster action and change, and also go to the younger people which will be our future political leaders, which will put in place a new blue economy which should be sustainable and so on. So we have to continue to work hand in hand.
Well, you've already heard my platform, and that is that we need to show the physical things, the ramifications of climate change that people will be affected by and can relate to. So I will just add to that, if a very extreme and unusual weather event happens in your country, and maybe you don't communicate climate change as regularly as maybe some of the others of us, but you want to maybe be able to say something, we have a WhatsApp group, and you can pose that question, and any number of us will give you talking points, things that you can say, and maybe even point you to a place like Climate Central or one of the scientific agencies where you can get a graphic to show. We are here to help each other. So if you want to know, contact us, just all of you can reach all of us through the WhatsApp group, and we will help you.
Thank you. Francisca, your final takeaway.
Thank you. Así muy pequeño.
Very brief.
Creo que necesitamos cambiar el modelo de pensamiento.
We need to change our
donde
mind.
necesitamos incorporar la naturaleza a la economía.
We need to incorporate
Y
nature
dejar
to
de
economy.
la responsabilidad a los otros y hacernos cada uno responsable en su propio lugar.
We need to stop to give the culpability and the responsibility to other and to assume
Aunque
our
sea
own
en la casa.
responsibility,
Aunque
even
sea en
in
la
our
casa.
house.
That's great. Then I will take a final message. I can't remember if I did this last year, but I'll do it again. In my lectures, I give well, you are sitting like this. This is called manspreading. I used this last year, didn't I? Yeah, I remember. This is called manspreading. If you're sitting very next to each other, what does it mean for the people next to you? Sitting like this. What we do in the Western world, actually we're doing like this. And I don't judge. Really, I don't know why you need this space. Maybe you had an operation, you had the wrong trousers, you're just huge over it. I don't know, and I don't care. But do realize, if you take your space and your freedom, you're taking it away from someone else. So keep communicating about why you need this space anyway, or ask, do you need some? Okay, I'll give you some space. Keep in contact, and do realize, with everything we do on this earth, don't be men-spreading or woman-spreading or anything spreading or whatever. Try to take into account that it's a we world and not an I world. We can do this together. So that's my conclusion. I would like to thank our beautiful speakers. Thank you very much for joining. You can sit here because we're ending up. This will end also the live stream for day 2. Thank you for watching. All the speeches can be re-watched afterwards from the site, so that's a good sign. For the audience, it's time for a coffee break. We go to the NH Hotel for the workshop. Share pictures. Oh, you're going to take a picture here. Thank you. Good. You're cleverer than I am. We're going to take a picture of all the weather presenters here on stage. Thank you for so much. Thank you for the other people watching and listening. Take care. And we're going to end up with the great picture we can use on the websites as well. And keep on communicating about climate disruption and the things we can do instead of the things we cannot do. Thank you very much.
¿Qué más?
A picture with everybody, picture with the speakers here, and then with the weather presenter at the end. All the scientists, all the speakers together.
The round table.
Yes, okay, come on. Close in. Doesn't matter who's on the picture. Come close in. No sad pictures. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Gracias. Gracias.
copiando.
Okay, we're the presenters. We go on stage, listen to instructions, find your position. What about this thing? Okay, make some levels. You know how this works. Some people can go on their knees. They can't see you behind this, Jarek. Throw this away.
I go down.
No bags. Get rid of the bag. Okay, the small ones in the front, please. You know how this works. Or on your knees, whatever. Front on your knees. Guys, why are the ladies on their knees? Seriously. Why? Men spreading. We call it Jarek spreading from now on.